Quad-core processor, take two. I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. This is the LG Optimus G on AT&T. It's coming to AT&T on November 2nd for $199.99, and it's packing a quad-core 1.5 gigahertz processor, a 4.7-inch display, and more. Is this a device you should get, or should you wait for maybe the Xperia TL, the Lumia 920, or the Galaxy Note 2? We'll find out in the full review. But first, special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile for giving us devices like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game, which we turn around and give to you at the site at instantwin.phonedog.com. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile to get this or any other device, you'll walk out the door paying the after rebate price. You won't have to worry about paperwork or waiting 8 to 10 weeks to get all that stuff back. At Best Buy Mobile, you will walk out the door paying the after rebate price. But enough of that, let's take a look. Optimus G, full review part 2. Let's find out if it's the device to get, starting right now. Part 2 of a review of a device that, you know what, isn't a Samsung device or isn't HTC or isn't Apple. It's an LG high-end smartphone that's going to be available in time for the holidays on AT&T. This is the Optimus G coming to AT&T on November 2nd for $199.99, and it's coming up against other devices that are also coming out in the holiday season. The Galaxy Note 2, the Sony Xperia TL, the HTC One X Plus, and then, of course, a slew of other devices that were announced or shown off either over the course of the past couple of weeks or at AT&T's event at AT&T Unwrapped in New York City a few weeks back. But this is the Optimus G, and it's nice to see LG kind of finally competing in that high-end smartphone range in the U.S. You know, we've seen a bunch of devices like the Optimus 4X HD, high-end device, never made it to the States, at least in its present international form, but this is intended to compete with the big boys on AT&T. 4G LTE capabilities, 8-megapixel camera, 2,100 milliamp hour battery. For the other specs, go back and check out part 1. But we're going to jump from now right into quadrant standard because I want to show you how blazing fast this device is. It has a quad-core 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU, so it's a very fast device, but you can see the fingerprints in this device. Very much a fingerprint magnet. The Gorilla Glass definitely attracts those smudges, but very fast device all around, no lag whatsoever. Everything I've thrown at this, from games, testing games, from doing a ton of stuff, to working with web pages, text messaging, making phone calls, and more. No lag on this device, and it packs some features that, yes, while LG's user interface isn't quite as advanced as Samsung and HTC and perhaps Apple with iOS 6, it brings a lot to the table that a lot of people will like. That said, again, not as developed as some of the other options on the market. So you got to make that decision as to what's most important to you. And like anything with a phone, it's all about what's most important to you. For me, battery life is like my number one thing. And of course, connectivity, 4G LTE connectivity, calls. I still make a ton of phone calls on a daily basis with conference calls and with other work stuff. So overall call quality is very important. But take a look at quadrant standard 7,701. Blazing fast here, and take it with a grain of salt because it's not always indicative of day-to-day performance, but 7,701, exceptionally fast all around. And true to it, there's no lag on this device whatsoever. Incredibly fast across the board, as you can see here. Things open up fast, quickly and easily. You can pinch out, you can pinch in. You can go to things like PhoneDog.com and Google Chrome. Even though there's a built-in web browser, I prefer to use Chrome. I think it's a great mobile web browser. But you can see PhoneDog loading up here nice and fast thanks to LTE connectivity. And again, pinch to zoom, incredibly responsive. Portrait to landscape, nice and fast. This device has little to no lag whatsoever, which is fantastic all around. You know, with Android historically, up until about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, has been known for lag. Not the case on some of the most recent Android devices, including the Optimus G. So we saw our quadrant standard score. Let's take a look at speed test as well. AT&T doesn't give any sort of hard numbers when it comes to download and upload speeds, and let me jump back here. There we go, finding close to server. Yes, of course, I agree. It found Atlanta. That'll work, whatever. Begin test here, Atlanta, Georgia. And we'll look at the download and upload speeds in the Charlotte metro area. Now, again, they don't give hard numbers, but you can see here we're running at about 8.6 megabits per second on the download. I've seen it much faster in other markets like New York and in some of the other LTE markets, much faster, but still kind of plateauing out at about 8 megabits per second over here. Now, it's funny because in other areas of the city, I see it as high as 15 to 20 megabits per second. So keep in mind also, it's 4 o'clock, so we're coming into rush hour in Uptown because bankers never work, and they get off at 4 o'clock. So it's always a nice thing. But we can change the server around if we want to. We can change it to megabits per second. But you can see nice, decent internet speeds there, even though that's not as fast as I would like to see for LTE. it still does a decent job. And like I said, if you're in one of those faster markets, you'll benefit from that. Another thing I want to take a look at really quickly is the 8 megapixel camera. Now this is an area where it doesn't quite hold a candle to Apple and to Samsung and to HTC. All three of them do a great job with things like burst mode, with some of their unique things. HTC's Image Sense processor, fantastic on their 1 series devices. Samsung does a killer job with features like Best Faces, Buddy Photo Share, and of course S-Beam, which is kind of an extension of Android Beam, but still fantastic features there. This thing is a fingerprint reader as well. Let's bring in the Droid Razr HD so you can take a look at it, and we'll use it for a picture test. So we'll come down on the, actually, you know what, we'll come down on the camera over here, and I can say things like this. Take a look at this. I have my voice feature turned on, so I can say LG, and automatically take the picture. I can say kimchi, cheese, what else can I say? Smile, and I can use those. That's over right over here, as you can see. And I can turn that back on. I can say whiskey, and do that. And then of course the time catch shot. This is great before pressing the shutter, so it captures a missing moment before pressing it, and it brings over a bunch of those things. So I can display those by pressing that button and see which one I want the most, and I can move it around and select the best picture. So these features are really what define a great camera. That said, the image quality here is good, and the 13 megapixel one I expect on the Sprint side. I'm still doing some final testing on it, but I expect it to be better, obviously. But still, 8 megapixel shooters on the Galaxy S3 and Note 2, on the 1X/Evo 4G LTE, and on the Apple iPhone 5 are a little bit better in my testing than the Optimus G, so keep that in mind. Still, you get a lot of settings over here, quick edit menus, brightness, focus, zoom, all that good stuff, image size, and of course I can turn that feature off if I want to and flip the camera around to the front-facing camera. So quite a few options in this camera. Definitely competitive for $200, but still not my favorite on the market in terms of overall quality. Now, I also want to show you this. Take a look at the phone application so you can see all of these different things, because hey, you're going to use these if you buy the phone. Call logs, favorites, contacts. I can come over here and see what a typical contact looks like. Here's Bill Stevenson, and you can see the picture's kind of a standard Android 4.0 layout here. I can click on the name to go back. I can click on the device itself and then go over to edit. And of course I have my phone, call and message. I can do a default ringtone, default sound. And so it's very similar to stock Android over here, with the exception of LG's custom icons, as you can see here. So I'll cancel out of that and go back home, and then you can see, of course, all of the customization stuff on my home screens. Another thing I didn't cover is widgets. You can see out of the gate. I did not take a look at this in part 1, but you got some LG stuff out of the gate. For example, this agenda calendar one is an LG thing. So we'll come over here. We'll drop it right here. And let's see if we can customize the size of that. Bam! There we go. And you notice ready to go automatically shifted down. So I can customize, of course, the stock Android 4.0 widgets, as well as quite a few of the LG ones based on my testing. Another thing to take a look at here, email. Take a look at 4.7-inch display. You can see, and the camera may not be serving it as well as it should, but you can see incredibly responsive, little to no lag, and very beautiful display all around. So I can go into Twitter, click on that, for example, and access those quickly and easily. But just again, I can't get over how fast this device actually is. Speakerphone has been fantastic. Overall earpiece quality has been quite good. Just to show you what a call prompt looks like here. Very responsive here, no lag whatsoever. Speaker, easy access to the dial pad, and then of course the end button, and you can take care of that. So it's a design thing. You may like the Optimus G on Sprint a little bit more from a design perspective, but still quite a bit to offer on the AT&T version. So the verdict with this review, it's a great device. It's one of LG's best devices I've seen them make. One of their best smartphones, high-end smartphones at that they've ever made. That said, it's competing against some really, really high-end devices. The Droid Razr HD on Verizon, the Xperia TL on AT&T, the Note 2 on all the carriers, the Galaxy S3 on all the carriers, the 1X Plus on AT&T, the Lumia 920 on AT&T. A ton of different devices coming out this holiday season, so the choices are harder than ever to make a decision as to which one you prefer the most. That said, you're going to have to take a look at these and decide what's most important to you. And what I will tell you, I won't tell you which one is the best by any means, at least in this review. What I will tell you is if you're looking for a couple of things here, fast processing power, a beautiful display, this is going to be your device. If you're looking for battery life for me has been about 9 to 11 hours, though I will compliment the standby time on this device is quite good. Still, battery life could be better, so this may not be the device that's best for you if battery life is your priority. That said, processing speed, overall screen real estate, and overall way the display looks, absolutely fantastic, and it's going to be a great contender on AT&T when it lands on November 2nd for $200. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. Be sure to like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We've been doing our greatest tech giveaway ever too, so be sure to check that out. And be sure to follow me on Twitter. Let me know what you think of this device, the Optimus G here on Sprint, and all of those holiday devices that are in the process of rolling out on their respective carriers. Let me know, PhoneDog_Aaron on Twitter, Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB, and let me know if you have any questions about these specific devices as the holiday season trudges on. What we like to call in the industry, fourth quarter. Thanks so much for watching. As always, we'll see you next time, and stay tuned for more dogfights with the LG Optimus G, because you know they're coming soon. Take care. We'll see you next time.